So, some folks believe they have found the mystery of a particular shofar sound. This would be the third. And the third messenger sounded, and there fell a great star from the sky, burning as it were a lamp, very bright. And it fell upon the third part of the river, upon the fountains of water, and the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, which means two-thirds of the waters were still good. Where? Where it fell. Okay. So it fell upon the fountains of water. So let's look carefully let's make sure we get this fountains of water so we don't misunderstand here. Upon springs of water or wells of water or flows of water. Now, this is very, very important. Source of water supply. Okay? Source. But not necessarily the original spring. So it is a water source. Now, where is did in back in the day? Now, when I say Rome, people automatically assume that I'm talking about the Roman Italy. Well, the Rome in where is this? The Justinian Rome, or the the Rome that Constantine moved Rome to, was the great city, was greater than the Roman Italy. Okay, so let's keep our minds open and let's keep our IQ high here. Okay, so what I want to do, so it's what it's saying is it fell upon the third part of the rivers. What rivers? And upon the water supply. And the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the water became wormwood. This is what happens when a meteor falls from the sky and falls on a city's water supply. And many men died. Did every man die? No. A lot of men died from the water because it was made bitter. Okay. So the Guardian has a article. In the early 5th century, rampaging Goths swept through Italy. The Vandals. Okay. Inviolate for 1100 years, Rome was sacked by the hordes in 1410 AD. St. Augustine's Apologia, the city of God, as they say, set the tone for Christians for the next 16 centuries. What it means is this Roman Empire fell, setting stage for the little horn to rise up. But the Rome of that era came close to suffering a far worse calamity. A small metallic asteroid descended from the sky, making a hypervelocity impact in an Appenine Valley just 60 miles east of the city. This bus-sized lump of cosmic detritus vaporized as it hit the ground. In doing so, it released energy the equivalent to around 200 kilotons of TNT, around 15 times the power of the atomic bomb that leveled Hiroshima in 1945. Now imagine what that would do if there was a water supply there. Oh, there was a water supply there? Yes, there was. Okay, the Apennine Mountains have served as the primary freshwater source for Rome for thousands of years, supplying the city with some of the highest quality drinking water in the world. Oh, now it starts to make sense. If you have a meteor falling and spreading debris all over the water supply, of course it's going to make the water bitter. All right. Pescara is on the Adriatic coast, located in the Italian peninsula from Rome. Housed there is the International Research School of Planetary Sciences, where staff and students study topics ranging from planetary geology to astrobiology. In 1999, a young impact cratering specialist from Sweden, Jens Ormo, arrived there to take a 3-year position funded by the European Union. Ormo, it happens, is keen on hill walking. And just inland from Pescara are some of the most spectacular mountains in the Apennines. He decided that some hiking in the area of the Sirente Massif was in order, so he consulted a local guidebook. He thumbed its pages. Ormo came across a photograph of something that amazed him. What he saw, labeled as a natural lake, was surely an impact crater. An expedition to the site of the putative impact on the Sirente Plain was hastily organized. Colleagues confirmed Ormo's initial suspicion. Here was an impact crater about 140 meters wide, previously unrecognized despite lying only a short distance from a busy road and visible from miles away. It had appeared on maps for centuries and in guidebooks for decades, but no one had recognized its significance. Yeah, just like a lot of events that occurred in the scripture that nobody recognizes their existence anymore, or their significance anymore. Natural lakes are common in the area, but this one had a raised rim, now about 2 meters high, but originally rather thicker. It was produced by an asteroid throwing material out from the impact zone as it crashed at a speed of 20 kilometers per second, producing a huge explosion. Later filled with rainwater, the crater is now only a few meters deep and occasionally dries up in the hot summers, but it was more than 30 meters to the bottom when it first formed. Relatively modest craters like this are unusual because small asteroids can only reach the ground intact if they are metallic, and thus strong enough to withstand the physical shock of slamming into the atmosphere at such speeds. The best guess at present is that the asteroid was about 10 meters across and had a composition similar to nickel iron meteorites. Kind of like the one over there in Arizona. If it had been stony in composition, as most asteroids are, it would have shattered in flight and released all of its energy into a phenomenal explosion. This is what happened when a 50-meter rock blew up over Siberia in 1908, leaving no crater. Okay? So confirmation of the impact origin comes from 17 smaller craters, typically 10 meters wide, scattered around the Sirente Plain. Near the blast site, where their water supply is. Some of the freshest water supply, cleanest water supply in the world. Okay? Now, so where is it? Right here. So in a different video, I pointed out that in, I believe, what was it, 536, the year 536 was the year where the fourth messenger sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them were darkened, and the day shone not for the third part of it. This point of reference right here, you can actually find, and I put it on a video in this YouTube channel. If you can find it, go look for it, where literally they said that the daylight was gone for a third part of the day. Okay? So what I'm saying is we now have documentation of what appears to be the third shofar sound. And it would have been lost if some Swede had not been taking a walk. Now, I also made mention of a particular mountain that was probably this particular event right here, the second shofar sound, in another video. Now, I don't have anything for the first one. It's probably because it's been lost in antiquity. But what I'm pointing out to you, folks, is the first four shofar sounds are way, way different from the last three. It is very important to understand that when you read about the last three, it says, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other sounds of the shofar of the three messengers which are yet to sound. So this is different than the last three.